Here's a breakdown on how I built a 90-second investigation-style theme inspired by shows like Jack Ryan and You. So if you haven't heard the whole theme yet, check out my performance in the link in the comments or the link that will pop up for you here. So when I unwind with like a TV show, a movie, or even a book, thriller and suspense are some of my favorite genres. And most recently, the shows Jack Ryan and You have really grabbed my attention musically. Blake Neely and Ramin Djawadi in You and Jack Ryan respectively, they build a lot of tension using simple motifs, pulsing textures, and subtle impact. So I wanted to see if I could capture that same mood of investigation and suspense, maybe with a bit of action towards the end. So I recreated some of their ideas in my own way and blended it with my own style. This isn't tied to a specific project, this is more of how I would create a mood of investigation. And I used a mix of different libraries and my own recordings to bring this all together. So I don't want to get too technical here, this will be more of a breakdown of the general arrangement. So everything starts with this rhythmic pulse here. I feel that in a more classic investigation scene, it could be slower, but I wanted to bring a deeper sense of urgency from the start. Let's say, maybe our protagonist is searching for a key item or a clue or something, and he's kind of running against the clock, let's say. So the pulse is then joined by this violin patch. I added this delay to make it feel wider, almost like it's kind of echoing around the room and not coming from just one spot. These two elements, they rise and fall, giving this kind of breath before the melody comes in. And when that motif comes in, it's joined by this impact sound. And that creates a big shift from that breath that was just created. A cool way to kind of show maybe, our protagonist, he found something of interest. He found like a key document or a big clue or something. Speaking more specifically about the impact, this is something you hear a lot in You. This is kind of my own take on it. And I think it's a really good tool to have. You can tweak it around as you like, depending on the track or the project. So from there, the motif develops a bit, and there are more synths, and the bass comes in, to keep things moving. So I originally recorded the bass very clean, and when I was doing the mixing, I felt that it could use a bit more presence. So I added a bit crusher in a parallel send, and I think that worked really nicely because it gave it like this whole new texture, which is what you're hearing here. And I think it worked out really well. So now we have this interesting EBO sound, which Luca did not record. This is actually a custom VST, which I made from some samples that he and I recorded in our old studio back in São Paulo. And I added Luca's picture there. It makes me laugh every time. It starts with the motif doing the same notes, just doubling it, but then it kind of splits off into like its own kind of counter melody. And I layered that with cello and double bass just to give it a bit more body. So after all of that, we have this new breath of fresh air, but that is with the impact. So I think that causes a more dramatic pause. And then that's followed by the motif again, but accompanied by a bigger, punchier arrangement, with more movement. And that would be, I think, our action part, where the protagonist, maybe the clock's run out, he's got that document that he needed and he's running from the enemies or being chased or something. thanks for watching. It's always very fun to share a bit of the process. If you're looking for more, you can check out the links below to see what Luca and I have been coming up with for video game projects, as well as our own personal pop rock tracks. See you next time.